He meets his mother at the market every day, but each time, he'd pretend not to see her. He never made an effort to talk to her. Even if they bumped into each other in the small town, they'd act like strangers. That day, Dongshi was selling clothes on the street. His mother Yudong came to his stall for the first time. He didn't greet her warmly like he did with other customers. It wasn't until Yudong silently picked out her clothes and paid that neither of them said a word. But shortly after she left, Dongshi lost the desire to keep selling.
아유, 다들 합수. 오늘 장사 있어 좀. 종이라고.
He took several pieces of clothes and threw them in front of his mother.
가져버리고 나 장사하는데 다시는 오지 마세요. 나가 하여 엄청 참고 있신지 건들지 마세요. 예? 예?
이 미친놈아, 어디서 소리를 질렀시? 넌 아주 너멍한테 어디서?
And the people around him didn't understand why he'd done that.
그러니까 살아생전에 보지 좀 말고 아는 척이 좀 하냐고. 예?
To understand what led to this situation, we need to go back to Dongshi's childhood. When Dongshi was a teenager, his father and sister both died at sea. Later his mother decided to take him and remarry another man in the town. On their way to her new husband's house, Yudong told her son that he should start calling her aunt. Young Dongshi refused to change how he addressed her. He didn't understand why his mother suddenly didn't want to recognize him as her son. But when Yudong heard this, she slapped him more than 20 times. Even with blood dripping from the corner of his mouth, he still didn't want his mother to remarry. He cried, saying he could drop out of school, that he could work to support the family. But Yudong kept walking, indifferent to his pleas. During those years living with his stepfather, he is bullied by his stepfather's two sons almost every day. They called him a useless parasite, even though Yudong saw him being bullied, but she always turned a blind eye. He showed her the scars on his body, but all he got in response was cold silence. When Dongshi was 18, he stole jewelry from his stepfather's house. He wanted to take his mother away from here, but his mother didn't leave with him, and his mother said he was a bad guy born to be a thief. That's when resentment took root in Dongshi's heart. He cut ties with his mother completely. After 30 years of living elsewhere, he returned to his hometown, but he didn't go out of his way to find his mother. In fact, he didn't even want to acknowledge Yudong as his mother. He was convinced that he had no family left in this world. Now, Yudong was old. A few years after Dongshi ran away from home, her second husband died of illness. Then, her two stepsons kicked her out of the house. She was forced to move back into the house of her first husband. She knew Dongshi hated her, so she never looked for him. But 3 months ago, she was diagnosed with late-stage cancer. She didn't want to waste money on surgery, because she felt it was time for her to go. When Dongshi heard the news from his friends, he didn't feel any sadness or regret. In fact, he thought it might finally free him from this mother-son relationship. That day, his friends invited him to a tavern, and they all urged him to reconcile with his mother. To outsiders, Yudong seemed like a kind old woman, but they didn't know what Dongshi had gone through. After returning home,